Okay, guys, we are live! So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly referee today, because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign, playing Mongoose Publishing's Outstanding Traveler, 2nd edition, 2022 update. I mean, it's really the same game as the 2nd edition, but that is the book we are using, so if there's any page references. And we are using that to play through their Reach Adventure 5, the Borderland Run. So if you are intending on playing the Borderland Run at any point, this session will contain spoilers for that adventure, even though we've made some changes to the adventure. But with that said, let me introduce you to the stars of today's session. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing? First up, we've got Carl.
Hello, I'm Carl, and I'm playing Anchor Gavel, who is a Imperial-raised and trained Varger, ex-Imperial Navy.
Very nice. Next up is David.
Hi everyone, I'm David. I'm playing Dr. Elias Abdel, a gifted physician and co-owner of the Rift Wanderer.
Nice. Next up is Graham.
Hi, I'm Graham. I'm playing Dane Loverick, who was drafted into the Imperial Marines and has looked back ever since.
Last, but certainly not least, joining us from his brief break from the summer golf sojourn is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Alonso Santoro. He is a journalist and author, and he's been locked in his cabin for a few weeks, or days, I'm not really sure which.
A random encounter with the Women's Golf Invitational has forced him out of his cabin for today. So then, guys, why don't you bring up your journalist colleague or crewmate to speed. Let me bring you over to something I think will help with that. Here we go. What's happened the last couple of times, guys? After, I think, Jeff, you knew that they were arriving at the space station, the World, the place that had the, or maybe you were already gone by then, but this is where they arrived a few sessions back. A massive space station around an uninhabitable world where the commanders or the people who are in charge of it have for generations kept it a secret from the inhabitants that they're actually on a space station. So if that doesn't, the face you're making tells me that it does not ring a bell. So
yeah, no, interesting.
So there is a place on here that has been set aside for visitors to the world, and that is where some of Tila Toral's family members and colleagues and clanmates and stuff like that have made their home. I'll stop talking. What do you guys recall? What did Alonso miss that's occurred since you guys arrived on the world?
Well, we got a very warm welcome. They threw us a welcome party, consisting of an ambush of about 30 to 40. Not the best they could throw at us, which has led to some questions later on. But there was we arrived, we met Tila Toral's people, and then on the way to their quarters, we got ambushed by some second-rate mercenaries, former soldiers maybe. Thankfully, we had Dane on our side who help deal with that situation in this usually efficient matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there was a few of us who held them off, but we subsequent to that, we were kind of accosted by further. What would I describe them as? Operatives?
Mercenaries. I mean, it was
mercenaries.
Yeah. And
we went to the Aslan Enclave, that's here in the public area, where we had dinner, which was lovely. We had a long debate about who is behind everything, and everything we have about as many different theories as there were attackers in the ambush.
Were they Aslan, the attackers?
No, they were humans. So far, apparently, all of the attackers in all of these scenarios have always been humans, which is part of the leading us down different avenues of thought in terms of why humans are an Aslan. You know, is it a misdirect?
Mm-hmm. Or is it just not showing your hand? Yeah.
I think Dane, you had a one-to-one chat with Elahasi, who is not the wife of Tila Toral, but they're very good friends and very close. But we be fairly certain they're not actually married. With a proposal, which I think you shared with us in some, not full detail, but I think she was sort of saying, hey, if you could like convince him not to go back or knocked him out and did an A-team with him and just flew off somewhere else, I wouldn't be against the idea. I can't suggest it because our honor system doesn't allow that. But, you know, if you just go ahead with it, then...
Yeah.
So that's an option, although I think we all
Yeah, she obviously cares for him a great deal.
Yeah, I think we weren't in favor of that as such at the time, but it's still an option.
Yeah, it would probably be against his wishes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And there was some talk about... so if he can be cleared, or at least there would be evidence placed against the current accusations that were strong, then the nature of the duel would change. At the moment, right now it's a matter of honor that he has to fight it, and goodness knows what he'll do in that. He's obviously physically capable, but he given mentally where he is and what he wants to do, probably isn't a good option. However, if we do discover some more information which would uncover perhaps some more of the truth, and we were directed to a particular member of the family who I'm not saying is under suspicion, but certainly we were directed towards was it great uncle?
It's his favorite uncle.
His favourite uncle, who has championed him and his cause and his career, his life really, from being very, very young. And so I think what we wanted to do was to, when we get to our next location, is to check records and do some undercover journalistic investigation.
Good timing.
To sort of try and establish some more truth and then shape what that next encounter will be, perhaps the final encounter. Is that about right?
Yeah, and I think on the way after the dinner we were then attacked again.
Oh, yeah.
Someone was following us as we went to the marketplace, and we turned the tables on them.
Yeah.
On this one individual, but then they met up with bodies as we were following.
Yeah, someone
So we
rolled
had a bit of a
snake
standoff.
eyes on something. And
I don't know anything about that.
and it ended up being they thought they were going to corner this one operative and kind of get information out of him, but it turns out that he was actually, because they ditched him and then followed him, and when doing so, they didn't realize that he was about to meet up with the rest of his crew.
Oh.
So they ended up having a bit of a standoff, and the captain almost blew someone's head off. But then thought better of it, and there was a exchange of not exchange, but they turned over the captive, and they tried paying the guys off as well.
Yeah, they were going on about this big bounty and how there would be so much bounty that we could all join in, and it essentially it wasn't worth us risking our lives when so much money could be made by just turning in Tilo. But we told him to F off on that.
Yeah,
Right.
So the last thing that happened was a conversation with Ultimate One. What do you guys recall about that?
Yes, I think we were concerned that because they've attacked us twice on the station, there was obviously more of them, and that while they clearly, we assume they're mostly after Tilo for the bounty, they might still try and use others as leverage against him. So we were a bit worried about leaving Elohasi and the others. Not that they're defenseless, because they're a strong warrior culture, but of leaving them behind as we go to Sync. So I think Ultima One offered to stay behind to keep an eye on them and protect them while we go to Sync with Tilo.
It is assumed that you would stop by the world on the way back from Tyok, assuming that you're successful. Well, I mean, whether you're successful or not, it'll be down one crew member or not. So,
yeah, it's quite a big resource give that one because he's so useful.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if Dane Chat is with the group, but I think you were also told by Alahasi that your plan of joining Teletoral and sort of an advisor function or standing in for him at the duel wouldn't work out the way you thought it might.
It would.
That might actually make things worse, potentially.
It would. It would absolutely make things worse unless we change the nature of that last encounter.
Yeah, if you can find evidence
finding out more.
That he wasn't just an incompetent, Ihate and dishonorable Ihate, that he was, in fact, betrayed or tricked, then that's something that changes the nature of, rather than being clan-wide shame, of being individual shame, and that is something that can be redeemed.
Yeah.
So, then, anything else we need to talk about before we dive into or back to the conversation with Ultima One? Do you have any questions, Alonso, about what has happened?
No, I think I get it.
Okay. Then first thing let's do is everyone give us a D6 roll. Let's see how much luck you're playing with today.
Yeah.
Go.
Where the heck is my cursor?
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So that gives you...
15.
I think that might be right in the middle, right?
It's about...
Yeah.
3.5 is average on a D6, so yeah.
Nice.
Much.
Well done. So then, what... why don't we pick up with your conversation with Ultima One then? Or do you want to... Does Dane... I can't remember if he was having that conversation with the whole crew or just with Dane.
I think so.
You think with the whole crew?
I think it may be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then let's pick up from there. And I believe you guys are in your shared quarters still, not on the ship.
Yeah, in the compound.
Yeah, I'm in the what do you call it? The Aslan compound on the world. So Alonso, what do you make of his proposal?
I mean, I would definitely agree that I don't like the idea of just leaving everyone else without some kind of protection. So as much as it would be, maybe dangerous is one way to put it for us to be without him, there is danger for them to be without anyone. I don't know. They've survived without help, though, as well.
Yeah.
So
We don't know how they'll take the offer.
right.
I mean, the thing about Alahasi, our basic feeling is it would be a shame if we got to where we wanted to do. But actually, they used Alahasi as leverage against us, or against him.
Right.
That's why we're doing it, really.
Right.
Yeah, something just to
Force
under the
his
card.
hand. Yeah.
But we haven't actually confirmed with them that we would be offering this, and they have surprised us before as to what they find acceptable.
What would you rate Ultima One's familiarity with Aslan culture?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say he knows more than we do.
So do you think... The question then is, do you think it's something he would
true.
propose if he didn't think that it would be accepted
I
by them?
suppose that's true. Yeah.
Have they met Ultima One? He's been coming along on the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so yeah, let's go with his suggestion, I guess.
I mean, I think at worst we propose it and see their reaction.
What would be the... So I suppose for devil's advocate purposes, Ultima One might ask, then what would be the reasons not to have me watch over them or assist in the protection?
We're going into Lion's Den, for want of a better phrase. And you are incredibly capable and a huge font of knowledge and an integral part of the crew.
Yeah.
We would lose you and we would miss you. And that's why we would be really concerned that we're doing this, because we don't know what we're going to face. And so far, it's been pretty difficult.
Then perhaps an alternative might be to, if we do wish to assist, but not leave any crew behind, to supplement their armory. I do not know what else we have on board, but you demonstrated the effectiveness of having more cutting-edge weaponry that can be brought to bear, and certainly something that would make the poorly equipped mercenaries we've encountered thus far rethink their stratagem.
Yeah. Our ship's locker isn't that impressive.
In contrast to what the Aslan have on offer here, probably,
Okay.
yeah, like they don't have access to TL12 stuff here. They are, remember, like they're working, you know, odd jobs as security and as flight control and whatnot to just get by here. So not having access to the full weaponry, the ones who would have had access to that stuff likely would have been the ones who went with Tila to try and take Aaron Sear.
Yeah, if we do have some stuff we could spare, that would be good.
I am mindful that we are, as you say, entering the lion's den as well. But perhaps one or two of our the more capable weapons in the crew may serve as sufficient deterrent from any direct or overt steps taken against Tila people.
I mean, I can give a Magrail rifle, for starters.
Assuming that they brought, if not their very best, but what they had on offer to bear, it would help tilt the quality of combatants in favor of the Aslan. Is there anything else you guys wish to leave behind for them? I can't recall what else is in the ship's locker. I know there's like shotguns and stuff like that, but that is likely equal to what they've got.
Yeah, I don't have tons of weapons personally.
Same. Just looking through the loot from Dr. Bancroft's lair.
Maybe Alahasi could have my cloth, my polycarbon armor. If it fits her.
That would be the physiology of an Aslan would be substantially different.
Right, okay, that doesn't work. Okay.
I mean, it depends on the artist, I suppose, but it does seem like the Aslan armor, even it's not called cantilever, but I always call it that. Whatever the reverse knee thing is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Digitigrade, yeah.
I scrub that.
Then if there's nothing else you wish to leave behind with them.
Laser pistol. That's Tech 11.
Tech 11, yeah.
Could leave that.
Anything, yeah. Okay. That also, so that would leave Ultimate 1 free to travel with you still. And you'd have, because if there was assassins here, there may be assassins on Sync as well, and Sync is much more the Wild West than what this place is.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Then, anything else you guys wish to talk to Ultima 1 about, or is the course of action decided? Leave some weapons behind and then carry on to Sync?
We don't have time, do we, to go elsewhere, properly stock up on weapons and come back again?
Yeah,
I think you're cutting. Yeah, what week is it right now?
Oh, that's a good question.
I haven't been here, but I feel like our time was a little bit short by my memory.
I think it's week 22, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and you had 24 months of time, right? So, is that right? Hold on.
2 years?
I think it's week 22, but that might include the trip from... That's from start of campaign, not start of the picking up the cargo, right?
We were given 4 months?
Yeah, I think it was 4 months.
16 weeks or something.
Well, we're really tight then. When did we get the job? Which place was it?
It was at Argona.
That's only a week off. It's 4 months. Well, I could be wrong. I mean, this is just what I'm calculating based on.
Are you counting the calendar weeks or the travel weeks?
Sorry, I think we have been going for eight weeks. Sorry, I was counting the week as in the calendar week.
Yeah, because
actually the elapsed
14,
time. Yeah, the elapsed time is 8 weeks at the moment.
Okay, so it would be 9 to go, or 10 to go to the world, or to sync, and then it would be because 1 for traveling to the jump point, and then or around 1 to back and forth from the jump point and the trip itself, and then another 2 weeks back and forth. So it'd be 12 weeks arriving at the world. So you do have a little bit of a cushion, or not the world, at Tyok.
It was just a thought. I actually think they'd be better having Ultima 1, actually, than a few rifles. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I was out of character having him with us as we go to retrieve computer-related stuff would be really useful. But I think in character, Dr. Elias would be in favor of him staying behind rather than us giving them more guns.
Okay.
But that's just Dr. Elias's personal feelings.
Yeah, feels more useful to them to do that.
Yeah.
So what is the thought then? Leaving Ultima 1 here, or leaving weaponry behind, or some third option?
No, leaving Ultima 1 might be a good idea here. I mean...
Yeah. Is there any chance that Elahasi could get in a ship and fly away, please? No, she wants him to. What doesn't she do? Come on, go and hide, please. Just for a few weeks.
Or come with us.
Ooh.
That way we can keep an eye on her. I'm not sure how that fits in the Aslan.
That would be leaving everyone else behind them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think if she is considered a potential wife for Tila Toro, she's likely to have the same station. And while their culture does have a deeply misogynistic bent to it, their culture still has it still sees a particular role for females of a certain standing. So
I say we leave Ultima 1 behind. That would be Dr. Elias's preferred solution.
And I mean, that was Ultima 1's first suggestion. And being an android mind, I'm sure he put forth his best solution as his first idea. And the weapons was just, because we had some hesitation to it. Not that it was a better idea. So, I think I would agree that he should stay. That would be my vote.
Okay. We'll leave it to Ultima 1 then to make those arrangements, I guess.
Okay.
I will speak to Elahasi tonight. Then.
We also have a spare tech level 14 medkit, which the doctor will happily leave behind.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If you said they don't have much TL12 stuff above, so I have from Dr. Bancroft's lair, we got a spare one So I will leave that behind with Ultima.
I think Ultima 1 looks at the Judico logo on the thing. His hand goes over it and he says, "We will happily make use of this." Judico, hey, did you pay for that? Then he will go and speak to that. And is the offer of the weaponry still open as well, or is that only in the event that you don't leave him behind? Or, yeah.
My offer's still on the table if they want it.
He'll happily take that offer to them as well.
Okay. Do you want a polycarbon armor?
I am quite sturdy, and
Okay.
with luck, we will not. With appropriate steps taken, I feel that we can deter any further violence on the part of those who would harm Tilatoro's people. Should we discuss this with him first as well? I don't expect he would disagree with these approaches, but perhaps in the interest of amity.
You think that's the right thing to do?
Yeah.
I will ask that he and Elihase join us. So he leaves to go and make those arrangements. Anything you guys wish to discuss while out of earshot of the Aslan and the android? That's my next stage play, by the way, Android and the Aslan. It promises to be terrible. So,
Is this favorite uncle here or on sync?
on sync.
And the suspicion is he's a traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why we think both mostly Elihase, but I think also Tilatoro might have more. Ultima 1 mentioned that maybe in the records of this favorite uncle we might find proof of this treachery.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anything else you guys need to discuss?
I think we had planned to talk to Tilatoro on the ship to ask him a bit more what to expect on Sync and see if he tells us a bit more about his favorite uncle. But once we're on the route, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, Ultima 1 returns after maybe about 40 minutes or so with both Tilatoro and Elihase. And as he brings them in, he turns to you all and says, I have indicated to both Tilatoro and Elihase that we have a proposal from the crew for them. In the absence of the captain, I believe the other owner may be best positioned. Dr. Elias is constantly press ganging to be the chatty guy.
Yeah, I think he would explain a proposal almost like giving a medical diagnosis.
Okay.
So just sort of the key sort of, and these are the facts. Therefore, we think leaving Ultima 1 here as a backup, and he'll make it clear it's not because we don't trust in their abilities, or it's not like a dishonor to them being able to defend themselves, but for all of the reasons we therefore think leaving Ultima 1 behind or having him stay here makes sense.
Tilatoro locks eyes with you from when you start giving the explanation from this, Dr. Elias, and perhaps unsurprisingly, he finds your proposal compelling. He nods along as you are describing the plan to leave Ultima 1, and Tilatoro looks over at Elihase, and she seems neither like thrilled or like relieved, nor does she seem pissed off at the prospect. She seems to agree that this is a apt approach as well, and with a mention of firearms as well being left behind, she's definitely open to that, particularly if it will not put more it's less of a like she doesn't want to put more people in danger. She wants to fully, be able to give those who would harm her clan the appropriate terminal response that such things would deserve. So they happily take those as well. Once you finish making your proposal, Tila Toril says, "Your proposal is acceptable." He looks at Ultima 1. "You do this of your own free will, then?" And Ultima 1 nods and answers in Aslan. Tila Toril nods. That's a word you did study, Dane. So you got the yes.
Right.
And another character, one more loquacious, might actually say, like, I got that. So what... Then Tila Toril says are we intent on leaving tomorrow then?
Yes.
Yeah, unless he has a reason not to. I think our plan was to get going as soon as possible.
The longer we are here, the more opportunity it has for my enemies to prepare and strike. Mm-hmm. Best to get the last leg concluded. And Ultima 1 agrees. Then we will make those arrangements. And Tila Toril looks at Elihase. Elihase nods to him, and she says, "Thank you. Your commitment to our Lord's safety is commendable." And her eyes linger a little longer on Dane than the others. But then she and Tila Toril will take their leave, leaving Ultima 1 behind. Then, is there anything you wish me to prepare before I retrieve from whatever personal effects I require for the stay?
I assume the answer is yes, but are you familiar with Aslan encryption technology? If we are to retrieve data from one of theirs, I don't know how much it differs from Imperium encryption technology, but it might come in handy to have a primer.
Mm-hmm.
I am not familiar myself, having not engaged in espionage during my time in the Hyrate. However, I am familiar with their computer systems. And if, Mr. Santoro, you are intent on assisting in that capacity, I can give reference points to watch for and exploits to take advantage of.
That would be very helpful.
Would someone like to give us a 2d6 plus? So it'd be 3, 4, it'd be 5. 2d6 plus 5. Well, please. That stuff's tougher than it looks. So you can certainly spend luck on other members of the crew. Currently, this is giving Alonso a +1. Because we'll treat it like a task chain. So whatever he has, whatever he rolls, will give it benefit. I think if you spend one more, that would give him a +2. You spend 1 luck on it.
That's probably worth it.
Just flip
Yeah,
it.
I think so.
Go. All right, task chain is on page 63. Yeah, I succeeded with 1 to 5. It will give you a +2. 6 or more gives +3. So you'd have to, I'm assuming you don't want to spend 6 luck just to get that. You could spend a 2 to get the bonus and get more out of it later. So I don't think I understand how money works. Then you are set up, Alonso. He's giving you some good tips for how best to approach the a potential hack.
Perfect.
do you not have access to... Ultimate One does have the benefit of being able to remote hack as well on account of his wireless, inbuilt wireless link. Is there any similar tech you guys have on board?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you will want to actually access the place then. Though Ultimate One thinks this was not the first time you'd had to sneak into somewhere in order to access a computer. He winks at you, Alonso.
No, certainly not.
He, of course, means Helfer, but you've also admitted to at least 2 crimes then. So.
Yeah, you know.
Then, anything else you guys wish to do for your final evening on the world?
No, I can't think of anything.
I know Alonso's a
No.
big Earth culture, so there's a certain band from Atlanta, Georgia. He's probably blasting.
Yeah.
No, it's not Atlanta. It's from Athens.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Both REM and the B-52s are from Athens. And I may have been listening to them in the car earlier today, which is why I've got the end of the world stuck in my head. Then anything else that doesn't sound like there's nothing or anything that is pressing?
I don't think so.
Oh, Graham, you are muted. Somebody gets Toast Mo. Toast Mo.
Hey.
Oh.
Cheers. I think Dane would probably practice his talk a little bit
Okay.
in the sort of last times in a friendly place.
So you're doing the Trock equivalent of your conjugation things. Ich bin, du bist.
Probably.
All right. Then the night otherwise passes uneventfully. There's no security issues. There's no, intervening third parties for it. So you guys are ready to make your departure tomorrow. You have gassed up here at... Wait, did you, or were you going to go to the? There is a gas giant in here, and I can't remember if you were planning on scooping.
No, we've got 2 lots of fuel.
Right.
We
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, got it. So yeah, you didn't want to run the risk of using the scoop. Okay. Then, what is the plan for making your way to back to the ship? Then, is there any kind of surreptitious plan in place here? Or are you just gonna, walk there like you own the place? You have twice face up against these mercenaries and come out on top, either by force of arms or by force of personality. Third time lucky for them, or... Tila Toro, if asked, he's not about to, he'll take whatever direction that you all have. But it would definitely, or maybe this is just something you would recognize, Dane, from your studies of the culture too. Like, he's leaving his people, perhaps for the last time. Yeah. Sneaking out like a thief in the night is probably not going to do his morale or their morale any good.
Right.
He arrived and was immediately robed as an Aslan lord. Perhaps leaving in the same thing might, if potentially putting you at risk, would be offset by the benefit they'll get from.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Should make a big show of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
And the Ultima One also agrees that deploy. Having the members of his retinue display the advanced weaponry that you guys have outfitted them with as well is probably a good reminder to those that, who may cause his people harm, that they're not being left with no defenses.
Mm-hmm.
So, the trip from the procession from the Aslan quarters back to the Rift Wanderer is probably more along the lines of what they had intended that the initial, procession be. Tilo seems to be putting his best face forward, but you guys have spent more than a month with him now. I think you can tell that this is one of his... He is putting the brave face on because that's what he's been taught to do and trained to do since youth. But this is definitely... it is fitting with more of the blacker moods that he has had in recent times. Everyone else seems to be trying their best to keep things together, but even by the time you reach the spaced port, there is one that finally kind of breaks, and it's not in a way that you maybe expect. They drop their weapon and just leap on one of the droids that is there and just start absolutely destroying the thing by hand. And seemingly everyone is just standing around and watching this.
Including us.
Yeah. And if as this is going on, you can... I think Ultima 1 sidles up to Dane, because you are the one who has the most interest in their culture. And he says in a way that is... Or perhaps it's even like he could sub-vocalize it through your comm links, because, he doesn't need to do that. What he'll say is that it would be unseemly for Tilo to display his displeasure at the fate that awaits him. But it is not for honored retainers to be expressing that emotion in an appropriate way. It explained, like, this droid is going to be like trash beyond repair. He says recompense will be offered to the station for this, but the favored position that they occupy as both security and flight control, I think they will be understood to have done that. The humans who are witnessing this are just like trying to ask, one of them maybe asks ship security, like, are you going to do anything? And the silence and the stony glare that they get from the Aslan, security officer tells them, no, they're not. Once the guy has finished acting out his emotions and lays, sobbing over the ruins of this, the procession then carries on and sees Tilo to the Rift Wanderer. There is no attack. If you guys would like to, who would like to give us the recon check? We'll give you a +2 on top of it's everyone's favorite skill.
You used a lot, huh?
I think it's also a GM thing. Like, because there's so many other games where I use, awareness or perception or whatnot as a general, like, how much do you know about what you see?
Yeah.
That's speaking for me, but there's also this game has some unusual, not called like holes, but there's certain rules that you see in a lot of other games that you just don't see in this one. So recon is sort of like closest cognate to that. Look at that, Dane. Awesome. You're certain that your departure is being monitored, but from a very discreet, some might say cowardly distance.
Right.
They, if there was any concern about them potentially having, reserve forces with more impressive armaments, there's absolutely no sign of that here. They're not even wasting drones to monitor this. They've sent a couple people to monitor that this guy's actually getting on the ship, and that seems to be it.
Right.
Any last words that you wish to say to Ultima 1 before he is left behind?
Don't put it like that.
This seems so funereal.
Yeah.
I think that Alonso is just too caught up in all the powerful emotions of the Aslan and everything that's going on that he's, very quiet and basically trying to control himself from getting sucked into it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
The very strong emotions is,
Yeah, you know what?
very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
If you'd like, why don't you give us a maybe a telepathy roll to see how well you're managing it? Because you're right, like the intense collective emotion that's going on right now, especially with the force of will to try and keep it in check. It's got to be coming in like waves on you.
Yeah. I'm really good at this, by the way.
So fortunately it wasn't snake eyes. So what do you think? I think the wave of emotion of sorrow and anger, more so the former than the latter, hits Alonso. How do we see that manifest?
I wonder if actually what I imagine is maybe even while this guy's destroying this robot or this droid, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and everyone's focused on that, maybe Alonso is destroying something smaller and less obvious, sort of near the back of the crowd, like some garbage can or mailbox, whatever, some object that's there. He sort of takes it out similarly on that object to sort of release some of this feeling that he is overwhelmed with. But just in such a way to not draw attention to it, or hopefully not.
Yeah.
Not as much, basically.
I think there is a moment where maybe one of the Aslan, they feel it's a breach of, maybe they think that there's something untoward about this human acting in this way, but it's actually
Right.
Tila Toril who puts his hand up. Because Tila Toril, I think, is aware that you're a psychic.
Yeah, remember he had that big incident on the ship, and
Yeah. So, I think he puts the hand up, and the Aslan lets you act out as well. You're not feeling like someone
Right.
who needs to belong. He doesn't even explain it. He's just given the go ahead. So they is with that immediately they treat your outburst with the same level of reverence that they do the other guys.
nice.
So I think that, Dane, what you might understand from that too is that the other members of the of his retinue may now view you guys as much higher in the Lord's esteem if he is allowed not only a member of the retinue but a member of the crew to have the vicarious acting out. They may view you all in a much more substantive part of the family, as it were. So when he concludes and you conclude, Alonso, and you look over, there is a look of incredible respect that comes from all of the Aslan. And if you meet Tila Toril's eyes, you know that he held this guy back from doing that. And he nods at you as well in a kind of like, okay, are you...
Yeah. I think that the sort of the reaction of respect from them, it basically is like a calming wave of the same sort of result of how the anger and frustration was. It sort of has a similar effect, a similar calming effect. So I think that Alonso, however they're expressing it, a quiet bow or whatever, he would sort of reflect that back to them.
Yeah. Well, there's also, now that they recognize you as part of the thing, there's a degree of the bond among these people and among this clan. Remember, these are people who from childhood have been bonded in a single purpose and a single outcome. So being considered part of that has got to be an enormously welcoming and loving.
Nice.
So then, with that, you guys, Teletoro returns the robes to Ilehase to collect it at the next occasion. And you guys all head on board. Then, any last things you wish to do before you make your departure from the world? No one seems to have noticed the, sabotage that was done to the ship yet. So, wait. Nope. Ignore that I said that. I'm sure there's no sabotage to the ship.
We can go through and make sure that there's no sabotage on the ship.
It has been under the armed protection of the station security Aslan since you guys have arrived.
Mm-hmm.
So, as long as there's no traitors among the Aslan, you guys should be fine.
Yeah.
If you'd like to give a quick once-over on the ship, certainly that would be a systems check would probably be what, mechanics?
I can do that.
Right.
I think we would. I mean, this is not the first time we've dealt with stuff, so...
Yeah.
It's bitten us before, isn't it? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Anchor, you give a system check tip to tail, and you're fairly certain that there's nothing whatsoever.
Okay.
Then you also find that the hold has been stocked with a variety of Aslan dishes. The Teletoro will not have to be suffering through your meals, nor will you have to share your stores with him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anyone or any of you acquired a taste for the Aslan meals, but Dr. Ilias does have that enzyme available to permit the processing of that food. Then, unless there's anything else, then it's a matter of heading out to the checkpoint. Ultima 1 leaves you with, "We will see you in a few weeks. And we wish you luck on Sync and on Tyok."
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Then
You sort of desperately want to say, yeah, keep in touch, but that's not going to happen.
yeah. The way. Oh, and now we have a very. Let's see. Boom.
No.
So then, with that left behind, and we got There's not a single one of these that is right. Hold on. Right crew, wrong placements. Here we go. Alonso. So Alonso, I imagine that last bit was quite draining as well.
Yeah, and his knuckles really hurt.
Teletoro will retire to his quarters. Alonso, perhaps you're going to do the same as well. There will be some kind of antiseptic or, whatever the thing to promote healing. Dr. Ilias, Alonso seems like he probably used that.
Yeah, I think that there's probably a scene where, as we get on the ship and make preparations to leave, Dr. Ilias just passes Alonso, hands him one of those without saying anything, or just hands him over the gel or whatever form it is in, and then sort of continues walking on.
Yeah. I'll quietly take it and apply it later in my room.
Anchor will take charge of piloting the Rift Wanderer out of here. Dane, what are you doing?
I think he's just going to go back to his training.
Okay. Then you guys will be able to depart without any incident. I'm not going to make a roll for getting out of the starport here, Anchor.
Yeah.
And you're making your way to the jump point. So let's check and see if anything of interest happens along the way. Let me get to that section. There we go. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I was just about to grouse, and I found what I'm looking for. So no grousing, Addison. Wood. Yep. This is not the sheet that I'm looking for. I know that's a different IP, guys, but let's see. Wood. Let's see. Jeffrey, since your luck is legendary with roll 20,
Very legendary.
would you kindly give us let's say a 3d6 roll, please? Okay.
Perfectly average.
Perfectly average, and also inconsequential. Apart from some, maybe chatter with other trader vessels that are coming in with a D, not a T. It is an inconsequential trip out to the jump point. What would you guys do in those days?
I think at one stage, Dr. Elias will seek out Dane. Probably finding you while you're going through one of your exercise routines.
Probably. Yeah.
And will approach you and will say that this was sort of his first proper firefight he was in, and I'm not entirely happy with my performance during the firefight. And I feel like I would have done more to help. So I was wondering, do you have any simulations, training things from your background that might help with at least getting the nerves under control while bullets
of course.
and projectiles are ricocheting all around? It might prepare me for the next one a bit if I
We can
had a
work
bit
on
more
that.
practice.
Yeah, we can work on that. That's fine. Yeah, just decide what it is that you really want to do. But yeah, absolutely. You tend to lead with your right, and you pull away, even with the higher tech weapons. So we can work on that.
Here now is expecting that Dane was going to be the one providing a prescription only for combat drugs this time. Then, that's Dr. Elias. Anyone else have anything they wish to do?
Yeah, I mean,
time.
I don't know how much I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to try to mentally prepare for what's to come on sync, because I don't feel like I've performed very well so far controlling my powers and not getting swept up into the emotions. And so, whatever he can do to prepare, he's going to, because he definitely doesn't want to make things worse for Tila Toro on planet by sort of losing control of his psychic powers. So
This has really only been a problem since you first met the intercessor, right?
yeah, that's right. His psychic powers were almost latent before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's not very practiced at it.
How does Alonzo feel about that?
Well, he's not sure. I mean, if he was thinking more like maybe every time he talks to Anchor about it, he thinks there's some conspiracy there. But, at the same time, the first time his powers manifest was when he was around powerful psychics, when they very first manifest. And so he wonders, maybe he just has always had some psychic powers that are much more empathy related, and just being near other people, it sort of turns that radar on. And so maybe, that's happened again. And over time, if he's not around psychics for a while, it will sort of fade back and not be as strong again, is currently what he's thinking.
When he manifested, recognizing that he was an Imperial citizen before, when his power first manifested at that monastery for psychic monks or whatever it was, do you think that it was them who taught him the way to sort of like close it down and hide it?
Yeah, like how to, probably, because being a citizen, it was illegal, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Psychics are, I think for sure they would have sort of, and so he's like got an old book with his old notes in it about meditations to do, and you know,
out of an abundance of caution, is it like, you know, concealed in some kind of you know, like legal shorthand or something like that?
Like cipher, something that he's, you know.
Okay.
So he's almost having to like retranslate his old notebook because he hasn't read it for so long that.
And what you've noticed then is since that, I mean, once you went through those, like those regimen or that regimen, then you had effectively shut down your psychic gift. So are you planning on closing that off once again, or are you planning on mastering it? Because you seem to be growing stronger and more, in the sense that you invested XP in it.
Right. I think that it's the last time that it happened, he was still living, you know, a life of a citizen and around, you know, in a different way than he is now. And he sort of felt compelled to almost turn it off, like almost meditate it out to the point where it wasn't affecting his life. But now that we're mostly out in space and, you know, living a very different life, maybe he's thinking more now of controlling it and, you know, embracing it, you know, still being able to hide it when he needs, but, you know, it could also prove very useful to him and the crew. So I think he's not planning on completely getting rid of it this time.
It sounds like then he pulled out those notes but has not actually tried to follow through with any of those things.
Or maybe the monks or whoever taught him never used it to completely suppress their psychic powers. So maybe it's almost more like he's reading the exercises in a different way, or seeing it more from their method rather than his interpretation all those years ago.
And Anchor, with if Alonso has talked about this with you, about this sudden awakening by this strange alien that you encountered, who seems to have plans for at least the immediate region, what does Anchor make of that?
What is that? The question again? Sorry.
Well, we can go to the transcript. The court reporter could read back my. Wait. Sorry. No, that's during the day.
I spaced out.
That's work.
That's okay.
We're in space. He's just like, you know, making sure everything's nice, good on autopilot.
What my question was
doesn't,
was whether the way that Alonso has his psychic powers seem to have only manifested in a stronger form than they had previously after meeting with that alien, the intercessor, who seems to have some kind of, the fact that you were transporting secret messages to King Oleb. What Alonso suggested is that you may have a conspiracy lens through which you're seeing that outcome.
I think we should find Alonso one of those fabled psychic institutes, because it seems like hanging out with the intercessor increased his powers. Maybe we should go revisit there, and you should do some training. I mean, reading minds can be very useful in trying to unpeel the onion of these conspiracies.
Absolutely.
So that's Alonso. Is that what you expected from Anchor?
Kind of, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, now we have a new tool. We can go back to these conspiracies that we had to shelve.
Is the general lying? Is he lying, Alonso? What is he thinking?
Yeah.
You certainly have made some allies on Hilfer as well, among some of the locals, in addition to the intercessor. And there was that Vargr who was working with the Intercessor that Anchor actually never got a chance to meet just because of when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, we're outside the Imperium now, so we can talk about that kind of stuff,
Right.
Sonics and the like, without without, and Dame won't get so mad.
Then, anything else that any of you guys wish to do or inspect before you reach the jump point? Then, let's get ready for jump.
Okay.
Okay, so we need and again, we'll use the captain's role for one of these because I know that he is the one who mans that station. Let's see.
You have to get astrogation roll first, and then it's like a chain.
Yeah.
So I think Dr. Ilias does the astrogation, and then
can do.
and then the engineering roll from.
The astrogation is a 4. Holy smokes!
I know where we're going, lads. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think the only it's a minus for how many parsecs we're jumping, but
Yeah, I think
that
it's
still kills
2
it.
parsecs. You guys are jumping.
Yeah, but you only need a
Wait,
4,
or is the
so-
world only 1? I think the world's only 1
It's
actually.
just one.
Yeah. So that's
13.
that's gonna be plus 3 to the next roll.
He's already spotted our parking spot on the planet.
I know.
Yeah, really. Just got a Google Earth of someone looking up at the or Google Sync of someone looking up at the thing, the satellite.
Mm-hmm.
Flawless joke delivery there. Thank you. Third time lucky. All right, let me check here. So then the captain. This is a J drive engineering roll at 4 or higher, and he's got plus 3 to it. So what are the chances? There we go. Kev, don't put the plus sign in. Done. There we go.
Wow. Jeez.
This is why I don't roll attacks in chat generally.
Wow.
Pro subscription pays off, right? So, what? Yeah. So then you guys will head into jump. Then let's. You know what? We're 15 minutes early. Why don't we? I forgot to grab the week in warp or week in jump book anyway. So why don't we take our mid-session break now, and then we'll come back and just carry on through to the end of the session afterwards. So for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
How many games were you running, Graham, at the expo?
So I ran 3. It was actually the same one that I ran 3 times rather than 3 different games, which made it a little bit easier for me. But it was quite interesting playing and running Fate again. I haven't run Fate in literally years, I don't think. It went down very well, actually. People seemed to really take to it, and it was nice to see people's fresh perspectives on the Fate system and really enjoying it and thinking, oh, this is good. And well, yeah, it's been around for a while, actually. Yeah, it was good fun, really good fun.
Was the expo busy?
Yeah, it was heaving. I don't know what the footfall is. It's our big one in the UK for those watching. I'll take a look at what the footfall is, but it doesn't rival something like Gen Con, obviously, but it's the National Exhibition Centre. It's largely a board game dominated convention. There's a lot of role play as well, card games, miniature games. Really good event. Yeah, it was heaving. I think it was probably busier than actually I've seen it or remember it.
Yes.
Pre-COVID.
All right. Sorry, guys. Anna Banana did not want to come back inside. I cannot blame her. It's 15 degrees and sunny outside. So, then let's see if anything of interest happens while you're in Warp. So I've had a couple people in Warp in Jump. You guys are developing.
Wrong IP again.
Yeah. I'll just have the worst comments if I just jam everything together and insist it's correct. So you're going to teleport up onto the Battlestar Galactica, and then you're going to get in your X-Wing, and you're going to face the Sulaco, and then you're going to join the Guardians of the Galaxy. So the book I'm using for this, I've had a couple people ask before. This is the Traveler Aid Society. So the Journal of the Traveler Aid Society, Volume 7. There was a deal recently on these things in PDF, and I really like this. So, Jeffrey, you failed to deliver on the random encounter front last time, so let's see if we have better luck this time. Give us a 1d6 roll, please.
Okay, here we go.
The weekend jump is a boring week.
Oh.
Nothing happens. So, then that delivers us. Well, I guess first off, anything you guys wish to do while you're in that week? I think you guys wanted to have a conversation with Tila Toral at some point about something as well, what to expect. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Dr. Elias will follow Dane's training regime, or Sims, whatever he offers. But he will also just like a health check with the crew to see how well the enzymes helped with the Aslan dinner.
Okay.
And just making sure, it worked as he envisaged it to work.
Okay.
But just like a quick survey, nothing invasive or anything, just so like, how are you feeling?
Okay.
Yeah, any side effects?
For Tila Toro or for?
No, for the crew, like to see how well my making them absorb or digest Aslan food worked.
Oh, yeah.
As far as a scientific follow-up to make sure it all worked and there were no side effects.
Yeah, I was about 90% certain that this was not going to have any unintended side effects. From what you can tell, because I think from what I remember, you rolled incredibly well on that like crafting thing. So there is no side effect, no ill effect from this whatsoever. And in fact, you may have something that could potentially be quite profitable if it could be replicated in scale, because especially for travelers going to the Hyrite, this is a persisting issue, right? Of things. I imagine someone has tried to develop something similar, but this was just utterly, genius. This has been a while since you've been able to do something, I think, like having a specific problem to face and then to come up with a specific solution to respond to it, right?
Yeah, I think it'll have been quite relaxing for Dr. Ilias. Like something like a project to focus on, it worked.
Yeah, as opposed to patching people back together.
Yeah.
Maybe we should find a big overreaching company to, sell them.
We give very generous IP benefits. For instance, you live.
Woo!
So then, anything else that's going to occur during that week? We know nothing interest is happening.
I just continue to study my engineering and
Okay.
train the lizard, I guess.
Lucy.
Lucy.
Yeah.
Yep. Train Lucy, the chicken lizard.
Okay.
I think for the day, it might actually be a bit of downtime, almost. Like just actually process of not doing too much is probably what he needs. So other than providing Dr. Ilias with some support, I think he's going to try and take some easy duties.
How's Dane handling the outcome or the aftermath of the firefight? Now that he's got some alone time and some rack time.
He's okay. I think he's okay. I think I think strangely, because of what happened and who was affected by it, it made it easier. And I think actually he's starting to get a view that actually maybe this is just who I am, especially for this clan. Mm-hmm. And so actually, because it was a clan assassination attempt, that almost wiped some of the more bitter feelings that he has about his past.
Okay. Then did you wish to have that conversation with Tilo Toro? And if so, when?
I think I want to wait until we know more to have those sorts of conversations. I don't know. I would now turn to our illustrious friend who's no longer with us and say, what do you think?
Well, I think we had planned to just chat to him about what to expect on Sync.
Yeah,
it's a very sort of mission focus in terms of...
Let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
No.
Is it what to expect in terms of, like, if he is a betrayer, how will Tilo deal with that? And, so maybe have like a group meeting, like a sort of crew meeting. Just
Okay. Let's bring you back over to your ship, in fact. Because you've left the world far behind. Did I just bring Total Recall into this as well? There it is. Okay, I was trying to find where the... I've actually labeled these. I've started to be a little better at labeling the pages. Okay, so let's put Ultima 1 down here for now. So it'll be in the guest lounge that you guys will be, or passenger lounge that you guys will be having this meeting?
Yeah.
Do you want to have it over a meal, or are you just calling it separately as a separate meeting?
No, probably over a meal. I guess crew get together.
Okay. So everyone is here. Tilo Toro is still taking advantage of the Aslan cuisine that has been left behind. I don't know what microwave live rodent tastes like, but certainly it's the kind of thing that you're going to want to put a sign up in the office for, like, don't microwave your fucking fish. Add the live rodents to the list of that.
Yeah, it could bite later.
Yeah. So you were all there.
Okay.
Who wants to convene the...
Oh, I don't know. I could ask, couldn't I? I could say, Tiratora, we just wanted to understand from your perspective what it is we're heading towards at Sync.
It is a reasonable question, and there are less members of my clan there, but an important agent. His name is Ephiohoi Koalea. That is Ephiohoi Koalea. Again, I'm sure we've all, when we did Driver's Ed, there was the instructor named Ephiohoi Koalea. But let's put it in here.
Thank you.
There you go. Ephiohoi Koalea. Genuinely, one of my favorite parts of running Traveler. These names are amazing. He is an old friend of my father, and one of the earliest who saw promise in me. We all have reasons for our actions, and I trust that he has reasons for his. But I suspect he may have... You can see it really pains him to be thinking this way about this person. He may have... He was in the position to provide the information on my assault on Aaron Sear for my enemies to effect their duplicitous plan. I think he would say a duplicitous plan, not there, because he's still uncertain as to whether he was actually betrayed. I have not... I'm trying to think, has he been to Sync? Sync is... It is a substantially underdeveloped location. Wet, cold, and largely barren, though with a breathable atmosphere for both my people and yours. He is supported only by other Aslan robots and a small staff of less than, well, roughly half a dozen domestic servants, bodyguards, and clerks. I had a stratagem in mind for how to allow access to his computer. I intend to ask for a tour of the community on Sync. Though I expect that, knowing how canny Ephiohoi Koalea is, he will see my stratagem for what it is. He is a valued agent of our clan because of his experience, his quick mind, and his training. And his eyes go to Dr. Ilias, one trained in the shadowy arts. The lack of support he has on sync works in our favor. And you should be able to infiltrate his facility. Even as Ihate, I am seen as having standing. And so I expect the bulk of his household will accompany on the tour, that we may expect that his robot security will be doubly tuned. So you will wish to take care. If there is any truth to my suspicions, it will be found on his computer. That is my stratagem. I welcome your insight.
What would the consequences be of if this taking care meant in a more Dane way of taking care of the robots, and you and they return to signs of a fight of destroyed property? Would that put you in danger? More danger.
If he is responsible for my betrayal, I thought I knew him, and if I am not wrong, at least, about the Aslan, he is. He will not run. He will not try to conceal. We all do things for a reason. I'm certain he has one, however unjustified it may be. He's not one to run. And I think if he was uncovered, and more to the point, if he had no proof that confederates of mine were involved, I don't doubt he has security. But that would in all likelihood be accessible through that same computer. If the robots were destroyed, but he had no proof as to who, he would know my stratagem. But what could he do?
You say he will not run. What would he do?
I do not know. And I think it would not be my place as Ihate, and one viewed with disgrace by my clan and my people, to speak to what justice would be done to him. I do not know if he has allies among the locals, but I would not put it past him. While his place on Sync has been of value and is a place of importance among our clan, it needed to appear as one unimportant. And that works to our benefit. He will not have the resources that others might find. His limited staff, his robots, and whatever security and allies among locals. That will be the extent of the resistance to our burglary. Any other questions, guys?
Do you have blueprints of the compound where his uncle lives? So you know what the layout is, so we can maybe prepare in advance?
He can give you a, like a sketched out thing. There isn't blueprints for it, but he'll give you an idea. It is, honestly, very modest in general, but in comparison to what's on Sync, relatively palatial. There's a small, his house is surrounded by a small garden, looked after by robots and members of the All Aslan staff. They are all long-term employees of Hoi Koalea, so you can expect the same type of loyalty to him as you would to Littoral. But other than that, there isn't there's not like a guarded wall or anything like that, or, the robots are not combat models either. They're not the kind of thing that would, that would require you to meet it with force. They would pretty easily, especially with the weaponry you guys have on hand, be utterly destroyed.
Mm.
They are all, I guess, the impression that, if you were to categorize this guy's role then as a agent of Tilatoral's clan, what would you think he would be? Military, merchant, espionage?
Well, he said he was involved in gathering intelligence, right? So probably espionage, I would guess.
In which case, his household staff, who are loyal, are likely also to have an understanding of that mission and the security precautions that would be necessary for same.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is what is your thoughts on his plan? What are your thoughts, I guess?
Sounds pretty solid to me. But I'm not a military mind.
I don't know.
Do we know what the time window of the tour would be? It's likely to last an hour to 30 minutes. How much time would we have to get in and out?
In all likelihood, you're talking a couple of hours. And Tilator will do his best to stall that with reminiscences and, unnecessary
long time.
questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Then
So presumably we land away from the dwelling.
the
Toro
spaceport.
will make his
There is a
Toro will make his way
spaceport.
there by himself.
There's almost no security at the spaceport, which is another consideration to discuss next. Unlike the world where there is no law, but there is at least station security to keep the station safe, there's no station security to expect on Sync. The spaceport is run, and there is some degree of organization to make sure ships aren't landing on one another or coming to, shots over docking bays. But the low port there is without any kind of station security, so you will want to take whatever precautions you feel are appropriate. As you're on your way here, it is worth bearing in mind, messages take a week to travel. So,
Right.
the time you spent on the world, if there was any communication with any other agents elsewhere, they very well could have communicated that to someone a week away. So, messages could have traveled 1 parsec or be a couple of days behind. Could have traveled 2 parsecs, though, so if it needed to go to someone and then they needed to respond to someone else, you may not have... well, it's not true. It's not the parsecs. It's the length of travel, depending on how fast, I guess, the comboat is. But it's a minimum of 1 week between messages, so... you spent, 2 days, 3 days on the world?
Mm-hmm.
So unless they were... if they were in direct communication here, there's nothing to... and they know the ship that is to watch for, there would be nothing to prevent them from you arriving to a full military force if they were able to deploy that.
Yeah.
Sync does afford the opportunity to land pretty much anywhere and then come in as well. It is... I think we looked at this before, but this is what to expect of Sync. I think we were describing it before as Space Scotland.
Yeah. So we could enter atmosphere on a path they're not expecting, possibly, and then fly into the spaceport from an unexpected direction. Let's put it that way, to try and maybe generate a little safety for ourselves.
Or we could just land anywhere.
Oh,
I guess in
not
that scenario, we don't even have to go to the spaceport.
Right, fair enough.
Anchor managed to land in the middle of nowhere on Hilfer, and in a box canyon in Hernan's Claim. So you do have a excellent pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And the companion has rules for landing in uneven terrain, so get to justify a purchase.
There's a lot of logic to that.
Yeah, there would be, and then coming in on toward you. And you guys do have, 1 grav car and 2 grav bikes now? In the hold?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got lots of ways to get around. Is it 2 grav bikes or 1 grav bike?
I'll be 1.
Okay.
I'll just double check.
There's the one that was stolen from Dr. What's his name? And then there was the air car or air raft that you guys had from before. I couldn't remember if you took another one.
I think we have one each.
Yeah.
One of each, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could easily take either of those in and be perfectly capable of approaching from elsewhere. There is a strange religious order that inhabits Sync as well, that throws large chunks of things from off-world into a lake as part of their rituals. You also hear there is a magician who tries to put on a production, but this is kind of, you know, a guy who arrives at a frontier town and tries to build a theater. Little demand for that. For those who may have watched our Traveler gaming marathon from a few years back, that would be a deep cut for Jeff's character from that.
Yeah, that's right.
Then, what's the plan then for getting in, for avoiding any potential resistance, and for getting to Ifeohoi Koalea's residence? Do you wish to all present at the same time, or do you wish to keep some concealed from him?
Oh, interesting.
Because he is the kind of mind who would measure the opponents, and if a stratagem he would likely employ, assuming he recognizes Tilatoral's effort to try and distract him, maybe to insist that it would be poor hosting to not bring everyone along to have the benefit of seeing what the Sync community has to offer.
Right, so if initially he doesn't know the full extent of our crew, that's a slight advantage for us.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
How would we split our crew?
I guess we could send Tilitoral on his own to visit. And then we just obviously would have to have some sort of signal as to when they set off on their tour, and then we can do our clandestine part.
I don't like that.
Tilitoral won't.
Doing it.
Yeah, he would not ask for someone to help protect him, but that's not an unreasonable concern that if this is the traitor, then he may be in league with other Confederates who are less concerned about Tilitoral arriving alive. Plus, if this guy is the traitor, Tilitoral uncovering that stuff would be a terminal outcome for him. Yeah, if you betrayed a member of your clan and you're in a sensitive position like that, the Aslan are not so different from humans as far as how they treat traitors.
So perhaps foreshadowing events to come, I could act as, security and guard to Tilatora, while the others in the team undertake the sort of data extraction and clandestine activity. Don't know.
What do you guys think?
In terms of protection, yes, Dane is the best choice.
We're gonna have backup somehow. Or we have a air raft and a bike, I guess.
Yeah.
And the ship. But now has, well,
If this chap is into espionage, even though there's much security, I assume he'll have someone at the port keeping him updated on comings and goings.
I mean, I'm certain that Dr. Ilias would do that. If he had any espionage background, of course. The thing is, he may, the only limitation on it, the only reason I hesitate is because of the lack of resources. This guy's...
Right, he does not have a large contingent of people.
Yeah. Like, you remember that when you guys went to Hernan's claim, it was that young Aslan girl who was just sitting there watching for ships coming in, you know, to keep an eye on people. He may not even have that to spare in order to do his job appropriately. He may, and in particular, if word has come to him from if he is the trader and he is working with other people, he may have gotten word that Teal may be coming, so that may convince him to devote the resources to it. But he's got 6 Aslan plus some robots to serve him. He may have had allies here, or allies on Sync as well, but who's to say what they would be willing to do or what lengths they'd be willing to go?
Well, and if he hired the mercenaries to come at you on the world, or whatever that place was called, that might have stretched him thin already, trying to make his play there before even arriving on Sync. If that was him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what do you guys think? The arrival and getting him there, I guess first off, the plan he has to distract them, to ask for the tour of the community, is that satisfactory?
I like that. I mean...
Yeah.
And then Dane will go along as the bodyguard for Teal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that makes us all nervous who don't have Dane with us, but we would agree to it.
Yeah.
This is it's taken us 27 sessions. We're slowly getting to separate the party, and we can start the horror part of this campaign. But no, that would give Dane separate, and then, I mean, Anchor made a good showing at the fight as well, right?
Yeah,
Anchor's also got...
Anchor's no slacker when it comes to shooting things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You'll be in good hands then.
It'll be fine.
The only question might then be, do we land at the starport openly, and then Dane and Teal head to the visit, and the rest of us mill about and sneak out, or do we land somewhere far off? Because as far as Ephiohoi Koalea is concerned, if he doesn't have people keeping an eye out, it'll just be a grav car coming up to his house, right? It doesn't matter where from, so we don't need to land at the starport.
Hearing that too, the Teal does enjoy the prospect of, if he's going to keep that, old cat on uncertain footing, surprise.
Yeah, I like that.
It's what he would do to me.
Right then. Well, in that case, yes.
Yeah.
Then with the available resources, there are not significant predators on Sync the way there is on Hilfer. So depending on your comfort level of navigating, it's also perfectly breathable. There's no, contaminants or whatnot the way there was on Hilfer either. If you do land relatively far away, use the air raft to zip in. You could disembark some of your people a couple of kilometers away and then just hike into Sync yourself. Sync is not a very extremely populous place, but it is a dreary but breathable and fertile place. So for those who do want to live and, think of the opening of Rogue One. If you want to, build your moisture farm or whatever well away from everywhere in the middle of like the dreariest patch of northern Scotland, this is absolutely the place for you. So seeing a bunch of strangers come in, it's not going to draw a lot of attention, even though you're coming in on foot.
Sounds good.
Okay. Then, any other... Oh, what about the actual infiltration of the house and the hack into the computer? Is that going to be Alonzo in charge of the hacking and the breaking in, or is there a team going in there? And what do you wish to do about the robots?
I think we should definitely not send Alonso off by himself.
No, I'd prefer not to be by myself, but if someone was to distract the robot, to protect the security robot away, then I could sneak in possibly without a threat of danger. So, right. If we make them think there is some kind of a break-in, but, pull them away from the computer itself.
How is your stealth? Is that what you do?
Stealth, yeah.
Because stealth's about avoiding detection by security patrols. So
Right. I have stealth.
excellent.
Okay.
I don't know
So-
if anyone else does.
Let's do this. Anchor, would you kindly give us a 2D... Oh, wait. Electronic sensors or computers check, please. Difficulty is going to be a 10 here. This isn't a pass-fail thing, too. It generates an effect, and then we'll use that to see how far away from the starport that you'll be able to land.
Sensors, you said?
Either electronic sensors or computers.
Sensors is good. 8.
Okay, so effect is -2. First, do you want to spend any luck on that? We're in our last hour of the session. You guys have like 14 or 15 left.
Yeah, let's spend 2 luck, right? To
2
bump
luck.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there'll be no modifier then. Would you give us a 2d6 roll then, please? No bonus. A 6. Ooh, that's interesting. Give us another 2d6 roll, please. I just need to look at the size of the planet. Wait, is that part of the whatever UFP? UPF? UPP? Universal Planetary Profile? Is that what a UPP is? Anyone? No? No?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Universal.
Size is
It
the
used
second
to be.
number. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's the second
Yeah.
number after a starport.
Excellent, thank you.
My handy screens here.
Oh, terrific.
Right.
Mega Traveler.
That's awesome. All right, so then the world is, let's see here. Not the world, sync. Second number is a 6. You rolled a 6.
Yep.
That is 36 kilometers from the target. So that's the nearest
That's not bad.
place that'll be suitable for landing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that acceptable?
Yeah, we have a grav car.
You have a grav car and a grab bike. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite quick.
Well, we just say, like, do you want to try and land further away? That just happens to be the closest to your target. You certainly could find something. If you can find a place that close to the target, it means you can find a place as far away as you are comfortable landing, probably.
Well,
And you did study quite well. Like what your role was for, Anchor, was to kind of do a survey of available information. So I imagine there are also locations of settlements and whatnot that are marked on there.
Mm-hmm.
So you could probably you'd land as well away from anything, if you wish.
I think so. We want to be as close as possible, right? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to do 36 is good?
yeah, I think it's good.
I think so.
Okay. So then it is. Hey, just look at that. It's from the Compendium or the Traveler Companion. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
So what? There was a table in here for wilderness landings, and one of the Results is so basically a crash. So let's hope we don't get that result. The any last things you wish to discuss before you guys arrive in system at sync?
I don't think so. Let's go.
You got it. All right.
Do we need to have a signal for when the tour starts, or I guess we can just keep a visual and see them leave?
Oh, and did you answer about the robots?
No. I think we haven't discussed how we're dealing with the robots. Other than, can we just? So these are just of labor droids. They're not sentient, are they?
They are not sentient. No, they're not like no. I mean, they scream when you turn them off, but I think I think there's a sense of humor on the part of the designers. What do you guys think? Blow them up, shut them down.
Maybe shut down. Yeah, like a control unit.
For the robots?
Yeah.
But it'd be better to shut them down.
So that would be physically restraining them and shutting them down then, because these are not like hive-minded things.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as long as you've got access to the tools and the computers, you could quite easily wipe their memory. And I guess time, for that matter.
Yeah.
But I guess once we have the evidence, we're not too concerned if it's found out, right? Like, we're planning on revealing the evidence, are we not? Or
I assume Tilator and Dane still have to get away from or rejoin us safely before we. I don't know if Tilator wants to confront him here and right now.
right.
This is a guy
evidence.
who's also a like remote intelligence gathering place. There's likely to be a great deal of stuff to go through in order to find that incriminating information.
Right. So it's more like steal the information and get away.
Exactly. It'll be
Not search through it yet.
precisely.
Got it.
The other thing could very well be that you just don't give a shit about if you guys are splitting up. Then you don't need to. You may not need to worry about why someone's stealing something. There's I mean, he's probably going to make a call as to who he thinks it is that did it. But again, good luck proving it. And if you are a espionage agent on the edge of Aslan territory, there's all sorts of people who may want to have access to your information.
Fair enough.
Do guys have any balaclavas or
Cowls.
space balaclavas?
I actually kind of imagined that Alonso would have something. It's not the first time he's broken into places at all.
It's that great scene from Layer Cake, where it pulls in on Daniel Craig and then it pulls back and he pulls down a balaclava, transitioning from his apartment into hidden in the bushes.
Yeah.
Fucking great. I should rewatch that tonight. It's been a while. So then, anything else that you guys need to discuss? You got a plan, it sounds like, for getting the infill team in. You've got a plan for distracting. You got a plan for where you're landing. Anything else that needs to be accounted for? Did you bring something to drop in the lake?
Oh dear. Votive offering.
Do we need to give an offering?
No. It's some monastic order that does that stuff all on their own record. They don't know where the funding comes from. They don't know why they do it. They don't know really who started it. It's just something they do.
Yeah.
But if they miss 1 month, very bad things happen. So it's best to just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canonically, I don't think there is an answer to it, but in our universe, there's a pretty clear answer for it, and it's really fucking bad. So then, unless there's anything else, then we get to see if there is anything waiting for you in orbit or in the once you drop out. So then, Jeffrey, would you kindly give us a 3d6 roll, please? Jeff, did I do something to you? Did I say something? Because once again,
20.
no encounters.
Yay.
Apart from... So you arrive in system, in sync. And unlike the world, there's going to be substantially less traffic here. Let me just grab your tokens. But that also means that it's actually a little safer on account of there's no regular traffic for pirates to prey on. Is that right? There we go. So, what we need to do next is to land the ship. So, Anchor, this is a difficulty 10 roll for landing in difficult terrain. And it is just a piloting check with dexterity.
Okay.
Oh no.
I would like. It's not a critical failure.
No, not a critical fail.
No.
So only
I'll use 2 luck.
you got
to make
it. All right.
If that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to mess up our landing gear or our little satellite dish.
Ooh. So here's the thing: just like the finding the location, the effect of this is then applied to a 2d6 roll. Remember my basically a crash result? Well, fortunately, you didn't roll. You rolled so that you cannot get that. But any extra luck that you spend will apply to the 2d6 roll for the wilderness landing. Do you want to spend any extra luck to do so?
Yeah, we'll stay with the 10. 10 seems reasonable.
Okay. Then give us a 2d6 roll, please. Anchor?
8.
8. Good enough. The ship is not quite level, and everyone gets bounced around a little. Some small objects may be shaken loose and damaged. Lucy does not have a good time in that landing. But the ship itself is intact.
Perfect.
Yep.
Oh, give us a d6 roll, Carl. Wonder if Lucy got loose. Nope. So I guess yesterday was my birthday. Today I'm getting fuck all in the session. So no one's getting random encounters. No one's getting any kind of complications. All right. Then the you guys are down. The ship is just slightly askew, but you have yourself ready to go. If you pile in, it is very much as has been advertised. It is damp and it is chilly, but it is otherwise perfectly breathable. And in contrast to the air you've breathed on Drinax, and I'm trying to think of the actual places you've been on the surface of the last little while, Drinax and Hilfer, Argona, you could breathe the air. No, not Argona, on
That's
Spurl.
sailing planet.
Yeah, Spurl, you could breathe the air.
Yeah, that's a lot of water.
This is the closest to Earth-like I think that you've been on. You know, there's the smell of vegetation. There's the smell of that, coming rain in the air. But yeah, this is actually, even if it's a little cold, this is actually, for as dismal as it may be, like living back on Earth. So, it sounds like I'm really being harsh with Scotland right now, but that is not the case. I absolutely love Scotland. How at 36 kilometers away, how close do you want to be before you disembark your infiltration team? And what I guess is everybody bringing? Tulatoro will wear, whatever stuff he has been wearing to get onto the world, but he will, if offered, accept a sidearm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the captain gave him one of his pistols, didn't he? When you guys did the rescue mission on Helfer? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll assume that happens again.
Yeah.
Dane, what are you wearing versus the bodyguard?
I'll wear the polycarbon armor.
Okay.
And I'll take the Gauss rifle. I don't have the mag rail anymore. I've given that away.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be wearing, the cloth trench coat and then Gauss rifle.
Okay.
Nice.
I do have dots for all of us.
Oh, good.
So distribute those just to. Yep.
Nice.
I mean, we don't need to use our vac suits, so do we? I mean, I don't think we do. The vac suits
definitely not. No. The air on sync is absolutely breathable.
Okay.
I have like cloth, I believe, armor and a Gauss pistol.
Oh yeah, right. You upgraded your gun.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you have a portable computer? I can let you borrow.
I do have a
mine.
portable computer as well. Yeah,
Okay.
might as well bring that.
Yes.
Possibly reinforcing the Littoral's view of Dr. Ilias, I will take the neural activity scanner and the EM probe that we got from Dr. Bancroft. Which,
we don't have like I don't know how do they do in this world. I don't even remember if like stun pistols work against robots and stuff, or is that like
that is definitely a Star Wars thing as far as like the ion guns go, but
yeah, I don't know if there are.
Yeah, disabling guns. I don't know. Like EMP things, right? That's what you're thinking. Yeah, let's take a look in the core book. Because boy, did we played Imperium Maledictum last weekend, and we discovered that Jeff's character could call in favors to get a Weber, which was
awesome.
Pretty awesome. So having a similar.
I was in Citizens that would.
Which say?
I was seeing what book this is in. It might be an earlier. Oh yeah, it's an earlier book.
Okay. There is a stunner.
Yeah.
Which a massive shock to the target to disable it. So let's take a look at what the stun trait is, which is in the combat section rather than the gear section.
I think that's for living those stun things.
Yeah.
There is something. There's EM. Well, Google says there's something, but I think it's in the. I don't think they have it for the current.
Let's take a look at the central supply. Ooh. For EMP. No, it was EM probe. Masers, stunners. Yeah, I don't see. Oh wait, there's an ion rifle. Let's see. Ion, yep, hit from an ion rifle can disrupt robots, electronic equipment on vehicles, or powered armor for 1D rounds. And is there an ion pistol? The difficulty is you do not have that on you, but it's good to know for next time. So
sounds quite high tech.
Yeah, it's. I think it says 15.
No.
Okay.
Or 14. There actually isn't a pistol equivalent either.
Right.
Yeah. At higher tech levels, ion technology has been miniaturized to the level it can be used for personal weapons. But I wonder if there is an ion grenade, though.
All right.
Well, here you go, guys. There's a pocket nuke you can purchase.
Nice. Yes.
That'll be our last resort.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see... Everything else is like vehicle weapons scale, so that's
Nope.
good to know. Though there is that available. I did not see a weapon or a grenade of that variety either, and I don't see one in the heavier munitions either. So, okay. So that's your ion.
How does encumbrance work? I've just realized the neural activity scanner weighs 10 kilograms, and Dr. Elias is not the buffest of people.
That is a good question. I think I don't see encumbrance in the index, but that does not mean it doesn't exist. Here it is, page 98. Under most circumstances, the referee can simply rule that travelers can carry a, quote, reasonable, end quote, amount of equipment without actually tracking it. Armor, a main weapon, a pistol, a few grenades, and items in a backpack are all reasonable. However, travelers being who they are, they're talking about you guys here, there may be times when they attempt to carry an unreasonable load. The first thing to consider is how they're actually carrying it. 6 modern rifles may not weigh all that much, but without a suitable pack or bundle, they're not easy to carry for long stretches without dropping one. When travelers start to carry a lot of items, the referee should step in and ask where and how they're being carried. We call that the Boba Fett rule, on account of one of Brent's characters from when we were kids. Most items of equipment have a listed mass, and the referee can also use this to limit what is being carried. Travelers should be able to carry equipment totaling a number of kilograms equal to their combined strength and endurance without penalty, plus any levels in athletics, strength and or endurance. Travelers can carry up to twice this amount, but they'll suffer -2 dice modifiers on all physical actions while they do so. Backpacks and carrying frames and shit like that will also mitigate that. So that's a long way of saying, use your judgment. I think, like, if you think that there is, I trust you guys to figure out what your characters likely can carry.
So it's described and depicted as being in backpack form?
Totally fine. If you don't have another backpack you're wearing,
no, so I think beyond that, it's just like cloth armor, his med kit, so...
Yep.
If we have to run away at high speed or something, I'm sure it should cause problems, but if it's just a case of...
What's 10... Is it 2.7 is kilos to pounds?
2.2.
2.2. That's 22 pounds is really not much of anything, especially if it's that big.
What is it? It's a bioscanner, you said?
The neural activity scan on page 117.
I am astoundingly deconditioned, and I could run with a 20-pound pack on.
No.
So... I'm using that by frame of reference by Anna's, by the by. Anna weighs 55 pounds, and I can lift Anna without hurting my back, so... I wouldn't want to run with Anna, so, no, packs, double packs, but...
Man, there's ways to totally mitigate stuff like that, too. There's, like, G packs. We really gotta look in the catalog for stuff other than guns.
Carl, if you're asking me to force a wilderness survival component to this campaign, you really don't need to ask that hard.
Yeah, well, I know. I mean, we're just totally not prepared for it. But
yeah, it's true. You guys haven't got your camping gear.
I mean, but we could get like a G pack, which can carry 80 kilograms of stuff. It's great.
Mm-hmm. I bet you in this the catalog there's probably collapsible frames as well to offset weights of things. So,
yeah. All
right. So Dr. Ilias has his gear. Dane is wearing his polycarbonate armor. Alonzo has got his cloth armor and his Gauss pistol. Anger's got his dust coat or trench coat and duster. Oof. And your underlying cloth armor, I think, right?
Yeah.
And all right. So then, how many kilometers away from the destination do you want to be? You're moving overland at, I believe, 4 kilometers. No, it's 6 kilometers per hour because 4 miles per hour on foot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable distance.
6 kilometers.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm assuming you have some way of syncing to, GPS, so you're not going to get lost on here. You guys all have comm units and things like that, so there's sufficient technology to not require that roll. Okay, then for those undercover, how do you plan on entering the town? Are you just going to show up at the starport as if you're, coming to do travel or trade? You are sure that there will be no security, but there may be, curious neighbors.
People, yeah.
Though, of all places, this planet does tend to let people be. So you may not need it, but in the event that there is anyone asking who you are and what you're doing.
Could I suggest we do we just drive up, but we take like an oblique entrance to the place. So it's like not the sort of straight line run from our ship. We sort of pull round and come at it from like a different angle.
Harder to track where you've come from.
Yeah,
you guys absolutely, with the speed that you could, honestly, it would not be that difficult for you with how fast that thing goes to swing around to the far side of the town and go in that way, right?
Yeah, coming from that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want you guys to appreciate the restraint I had of not making another pod racer sound. Okay, I can't. On to the far side of town.
I think we just show up as travelers,
Yeah.
I don't think we need to go to great lengths to create personas or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then with you guys dropped off, it'll be then Tilo and Dane. Who is driving the grav vehicle, by the way? Or flying? Piloting? Piloting. It'll be dexterity and is it called, I can't remember, is piloting or ground vehicles or
Flyer, grav.
Flyer, there we go. Yeah.
Nope.
It's only going to be a DC 4 for this, so but I mean there is a chance something might have gone awry.
I can do that. I've got that.
I'll actually
yeah.
But,
if you're the one, and you're going to be in the thing the whole way there, Tuesday, so why don't you go ahead and give us that roll?
Just a sec. Okay.
I think you get +2 from the handling of the vehicle as well.
Oh, no, I've only got level 0, but I've got +2 handling.
Yeah.
That might be okay.
So really, just don't roll snake eyes.
Okay. It's got parried. Sorry.
No problem.
Just clicking the wrong buttons here. Here we go.
For those listening at home, Graham is also deeply method role-playing his stoic determination because he's playing while suffering from food poisoning. So,
I'm struggling a bit. There you go. I've got a 9. How does that?
Oh, that's perfect.
fantastic.
Great.
Yeah. You also make great time as well. You drop off, and if you want to really, shake things up, you could drop the guys off at one place, swing around from another angle, and then have the grav car come in from another.
Okay.
So when you go zipping in, you will make your way directly towards his abode or his manor, and the rest of you guys. Do you want to? Is an hour enough time for you to get in, or do you want to try and double time it, or make better?
I mean, I think an hour is a reasonable amount of time to delay the request for the tour anyway, roughly,
So I guess do you expect him to take an hour for you guys to get into town to, chat with this guy and then request the tour? Or do you want to have the grav car wait until you guys reach town and then have the grav car come in and request the tour immediately?
Oh.
I think, assuming this fits within Aslan culture, if they just show up and he goes, "Give me a tour now,"
Yeah.
that might already make it even more suspicious than it might already be. Whereas if he shows up and says, "Let's have whatever, welcome ceremony chit chat and say, "Oh, it's my first visit to Sync. Let's go for a stroll that might be less suspicious."
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. If it seems casual rather than forced, they're less likely to react to it as suspiciously.
Okay. Would Alonzo, Dr. Ilias, and Anchor kindly give us a athletics endurance check, please? This is going to be a DC of 6.
I do not have athletics.
Okay.
I'm not using luck.
So long as that's not... Yep, you're good. You just need 1 luck.
What do you roll? Untrained if you...
Untrained, and in your case, you're gonna... Your Jack of all trades is at 1. Is that right? Or is it a 2?
Yeah. No, it's a 1.
It's a 1? Okay, so you'll... untrained at -2. Or untrained at +1, I guess. And remember, don't put the plus sign in.
Oh, is there an untrained?
I don't think there is.
No, I think just a roll endurance with -2 then I think would be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Endurance -2.
Okay, you will need to add plus... Oh, wait, did you roll athletics endurance? Or just endurance?
Just endurance.
Okay, so it'll be athletics endurance. So you're not trained in athletics, which is going to be the exact same roll, which will get you the same result.
Right. Which is why I put the -2.
Yeah. So this will be 1 luck in order to get that to a success.
Okay. Perfect.
This is, as you can see, the terrain is a little unforgiving. So just I wanted to see if anyone was suffering any kind of fatigue from that 1-hour hike. When you guys reach the... So first off, it'll be Dane and Tila Toro who arrive. When you pull up, Tila Toro, there is a brief pause, as he's sort of looking at the place. And you imagine there is... he probably has mixed feelings about this and memories of this place with this individual.
Yeah.
After a maybe 2-second pause, he then turns and says, "Then, let us see the truth of this." He gets out, and as he approaches, he turns and "Thank you.
I sense you will know."
He nods, and he walks up to the door. With a chime or a notification, there is a... one thing that's not in the source books is just how silly their door... There's a very big propensity for wacky door chimes among Aslan people. No, so the notification chimes and lets them know, and the door is answered by an Aslan servant who looks up, and while they have fur on their faces, obviously, so you cannot see color bleach from them, the size of her eyes tells you all you need to know about the shock at seeing him. And it immediately turns over to someone who seems genuinely pleased to see Tila Toro. "My lord!" And bows to him. "This is such a surprise." And the house is actually, it's as you expected. There is a lovely garden here that is a marked contrast from the very stark environment that you've been driving through for the last little bit. But what you find is this place is very meager. This is, a North American 3-bedroom home might be about the size of this place.
Right. So
it's really not, it's not substantially bigger than like a residential lot in a North American city. Which is again, big is all relative. So as far as European or UK plots, it's going to seem fucking huge. As far as so I wanted to give the context for that. when you make your way in here, you find that from the door, there is an aged Aslan who has made his way out, and because he seemingly heard who was in, and he is dressed in the kind of it's not casual wear by any means, but it is fancy but not going out, kind of like a mark of station kind of clothing that you've seen in your research materials, Dane. The kind of thing that would indicate, you know, someone was standing in a noble home. He stands out and he says something in Tyok, which you recognize obviously as Tila Toral's name, and Tila Toral responds in not Tyok, in Trok, in the Aslan tongue once again with his name.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to very specifically speak in Galanglic.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to make any indication that I understand the language.
I remember this in a second. I have a friend from law school who speaks flawless Cantonese, and because he grew up in Hong Kong, and he's a white guy, and he told us a story of making a couple of Chinese girls just weep because he was playing tennis, and they were sitting there just like jawing about him in Cantonese the whole time because he was taking so long and this, and then as he's leaving, he just says one or two words in unaccented Cantonese, and then just burst into tears.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And he's not like he's a super chill, super laid back guy too, so it wouldn't have been in this like overly, you know, it's funny stuff. But anyway, then you're gonna be able to do is listen in as best you can about their conversation. There is, you can tell, a reference to you, and he transitions into Galanglic and says, "This is Dane Loverick. He is my..."
I'll nod.
Yeah. And the older Aslan responds in Galanglic as well. "Welcome. Any friend of my lord is welcome here as well." And
Honored to be here.
Tila Toral pointedly says, "He is my bodyguard." And you can see there's two other younger Aslan who have come out, not wearing armor necessarily, or at least not anything beyond cloth, and armed, like with sidearms at them. Likely it's Effie's bodyguards as well. And there's a bit of a sizing up that they are giving, you know, you.
The monkey knives are prominently displayed on the belt.
Awesome. Yeah, and then that was what we'll be drawing their eyes as well.
Yeah.
Well, that and the polycarbonate armor and the Gauss rifle as well.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So there's a bit of, as you suspected, there is a bit of a back and forth among them for formally welcoming him and whatnot. And Tila Toral very quickly speeds past that stuff and insists on, I would have a tour of your, of the community. And there's this, you know, like, I mean, you've likely seen this before. I'm trying to think of when Dane there may have been a time when a superior to yours was dealing with an officer or perhaps some kind of, you know, espionage agent or something. Someone who was outside of your chain of command, where there was that kind of, you know, polite discourse back and forth, but there's clear, like below the surface of the civility, there is like something else is just a war being waged of that. Where, you know, someone is asking someone to do something simple and they're countering and parrying with, you know, the most kind of like unobtrusive, banal level of civility and politeness and manners. And that is exactly what is going on here. where like someone proposes having a meal first, and someone saying perhaps taking before while the light is good, and someone saying, well, perhaps we should ensure that we have a meal ready for you, and then like, no, everyone should come. I would feel most welcome that way. Mm-hmm. So there is this sort of, parry riposte going back and forth, and clearly the bodyguards know what's going on because their eyes are fixed on you, and you've been around this where this type of thing has happened before, where civility, whoever lost out on your side, there was a body count attached to the outcome of that polite back and forth. Do you wish to do or say anything before things land on whether this tour is happening now or whether dinner's just going to be started once everyone gets back from the tour?
Yeah, it's difficult because my status, although bodyguard, I'm not quite sure what my status is, but I would probably support it by saying, as one who is new to your world, I have heard so much about your estates from Tila Tora, and it would be an honor to be able to experience them firsthand.
I think also what if you have your monkey knives prominently displayed, it's something that Tila Tora obviously would have noticed before he went on. So there's probably a reason where he wants that displayed as well, right? Because there's almost like a it's showing up with a big goon with a giant sword or weapon or whatnot of like, by all means pick a fight with me, because it is a dual focus. One of the ways that this culture deals with their disputes is through dueling, and you have your like what you would be using as his second effectively on the table right now. So that probably lends an element of tension to the conversation. Yeah. But Tila Tora wins out. Whether because it was, catching this old, spy off his game, whether demand, he pressed his demand as fast so he couldn't find a way to sort of maneuver him into doing what he wanted. But he has agreed. And it only took around 45 minutes to get to the point where enough civility has passed, so you're ready for a tour of the community. I didn't ask what time of day that you guys wanted to have this happen, but you certainly would have been able to time it to coincide with whenever you want sunset to happen. What do you guys think?
A little bit of cover of darkness wouldn't hurt.
Okay. I appreciate the drama of arriving in town just as sun is setting behind you. That one's going to make the trailer for sure. Then it appears. What's the message or the kind of go symbol for when you are doing the infiltration? Carl, can you still hear us? I didn't even check in Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. The browser is having issues, but
do you want to refresh the browser altogether?
I did. I've been
did you? Okay.
Doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know what the deal is, but I can hear what's going on.
I assume sunspots, but
yeah. I blame Greg Abbott.
Absolutely.
Or Greg, or the other guy, the Attorney General guy.
Oh yeah,
that guy's awful.
He really
Texas
is.
Yeah, sad.
I know Ken Paxton. Yeah. So another real life villain. Let's talk about our villains here. What? So Dane, what is the message? Are you like trigger your comm twice or?
Yes, just make it something simple like that.
Okay. So you guys are about 10 minutes outside of town as you're making your way in. How's everyone doing with this hike, by the way?
I think we're a little, probably not used to the dampness in the atmosphere, so we're a little, we have to reach deep and to our reserve of luck to make sure we don't experience fatigue. So maybe some lighthearted conversation to keep our spirits up.
Yeah.
I think Delis will find it quite invigorating. He's actually trained in athletics endurance. So I think he met. So this might be part of sort of mens sana in corpore sano. Part of like, I didn't have to spend luck on my road, so I think he's possibly the lead for part of it and quite sort of enjoying it, and then slowing down a bit to let his companions catch up. But joining in the banter and just keeping it light, and sort of a nice sort of counterpoint to all of the tension and violence that has come and might still come.
Well, and I think for Alonso, I think he's really trying to, I don't know if like psych himself up is the word, but like mentally prepare for this. He's done this kind of stuff before, but always writing an article and, not on like personal terms where he, feels so attached to the result and to finding this information. He's kind of really bonded with Tila Toro, especially with all the emotional, psychic connection that he's been feeling from him. And so he's very invested in this operation.
Okay. The town itself and the starport itself is probably very much like what you see in the top there. A lot of kind of stuff. It's more crowded together, but in terms of like made with available materials as opposed to actual HAB units arriving and then constructing that stuff or using local material. There's no manufacturing on sync whatsoever. So it's going to be what you bring here is what you're going to be able to use to build your structures. There may even be yaks too, because this place is one of those planets where you don't need to be like dramatically bioengineering things or having to wear respirators or whatnot are still quite rare, or relatively rare. So this is a terrific location for livestock. So I guess I'm slowly making this. Yeah, there's Harry Coos here. So this is Space Scotland. What do we see as the three of you sneak into that town? I wanted to set the stage for you to tell us what it looks like as you three are making your way in.
This will definitely take his cue from Alonso on this. He's not used to the actual infiltration aspect, so over to the expert.
Can I ask, is Dr. Ilias able to resist saying hello to the first person he meets in town?
Possibly not. No, he'll if there's like just general. I think maybe he has learned a bit from his experiences with the Rand investigators, and so he's going to try and resist.
Okay.
Because it could, there could be spies and assassins lurking everywhere now in his mind a little bit. So I think he'll. Yeah. There's probably an initial, and then he'll realize, no, actually, we're on a mission, and sort of take a step back.
Okay. So I think that, and by coincidence, ends up being kind of the right. Because if you do sort of you're going to say something, then just nod. The person you make eye contact with kind of nods and then goes on with their whatever they were doing. So otherwise, Dr. Elias is hanging back. Anchor and Alonso, what are you guys doing for your infiltration here? Like, are you reaching a spot and waiting to spy to see them all leave and then making your way in, or?
Yeah, like I think trying to like confirm we see them out on the tour, so
okay,
leaving the premises essentially.
Alonso, why don't you give us, since you're taking the lead here, why don't you give us a stealth check, please?
All right, here we go. Meaningful roll coming up.
Nice.
Great. So you guys all get your position. You're well concealed. You haven't drawn the attention of anyone else. You could even be in an elevated position if you want. This town is probably the spaceport. Like the further you get away from the spaceport, the more uneven and rocky the surface likely is. And you're able to see them leave. And it seems like they're bringing the entire retinue, apart from the robots. And you see them walking through this beautiful garden as they're leaving. Once they depart, the place is open.
Right.
What do you guys do?
Make our move.
Are we within... Hold on a moment, Alonso. Hold on a moment. Are we within 500
They may have
meters
forgotten
of the
their keys.
Are Are we within 500 meters of the place at this stage?
You are absolutely within 500 meters.
In which case, Dr. Illis will use the neural activity scanner first before we head in, just on the off chance. So it detects neural activity up to 500 meters away.
Yep.
Give a rough estimation of the intelligence level of the organisms based on brainwave patterns.
Okay. Would you give us so basically you've got a phrenology device, but a high-tech level one. Why don't you give us a electronic sensors check, please? This is going to be a 4 to get this to function properly. Holy hell.
Nice.
What you find, there is one individual that has been left behind, it seems. And they seem to be Aslan as well, from the specifics of the neural activity. With that good of a roll, you're able to pinpoint where they are as well. Which is to say that they are currently they are concealed in one of the back rooms. I say concealed because they seem to be, like, doesn't seem to be in a very large or comfortable area. Maybe they're a prisoner, actually, for that matter, but...
Should we try to do something to draw them out of the house?
Well, you said there might be a prisoner.
Oh, I just said that, but it's not on... It's a small enough place to not really be comfortable. It probably is like a closet or a storage place, so it could very well be a prisoner locked up in there as well, but more likely it's someone who's been concealed in there so that Teal would not notice.
Okay.
No.
Well, what do you want
guys
to do?
think?
Yep, that's why we should have stun weapons. Anyway, next time.
Find your ghost rifle. I think I jocked him too hot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess we gotta continue the stealthy approach and deal with this.
Dr. Ilias rolled well enough. If you wish to have someone stick behind and keep this thing active, he could track where this person is in relation to you.
Oh, and we could maybe just try to avoid them.
Okay.
Yeah, see if they... And then... Because if I stay outside and keep an eye on this...
Yeah, we have...
I could move, I can comms with, but I was going to run up to the door and just ring the doorbell and try and distract them. If they're about to catch you.
Space, knock, knock, ginger. I love it.
That would be
space Jehovah's Witnesses or something like that. Sorry, my graph card broke down. Can you?
You could say you're from that group and we need donations to throw into the lake.
Yeah, exactly. The Sync Watchtower. That's what you're showing up to deliver.
We're here at the Sync Watchtower. All right. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, that's a good idea. Monitor it and then let us know, since we have the comm dots.
Yeah.
Let us know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then I'll go with Alonzo as backup, just in case, and hopefully we try to avoid robots too, right? Because that'll...
Alonso, why don't you give us a stealth roll again? This is going to be your actual infiltration now.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's infiltrate.
Or would you rather me stay out on Overwatch since I have the long range?
I mean, having you watch my back while I'm typing at a computer would be comforting.
Okay.
Okay. Nice. So with 10, you're going to be able to cover the two of you in.
Yes.
What is the plan with the robots? I don't think the scanner identifies where they are.
Yeah, we'll just have to be on the lookout for them and then try to deal with them. I guess. Try to avoid them if we can see them ahead of time.
If you see them, what are you planning on doing?
Take them out? What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, I guess
the ghost rifle is many things. Quiet, it is not.
No.
Shoot. Well,
I mean, we could try to jump one. I can use brawling, and you can turn it off.
yeah. Like, how long are they? Are they large? Are they?
They are.
How big are
If
they?
you guys have even like a hint above regular strength, you likely will be able to. These things are labor droids, so like they're designed to lift, but that's more a function of their design than it is like that they can apply force
Right.
in a meaningful way.
Okay, so we could probably go with that. Anchor attempts to tackle it, and I'll attempt to turn it off while
Okay.
he's holding it, basically.
Yeah.
Sure. So you position. You rolled well enough. Well, Anchor, why don't you give us a what is it? Brawling.
Crawling.
Yeah, give us a brawling check. Let's see if you can how that goes. No
No,
problem. Tell us what it looks like as you take the. Did you roll with the? Oh, you probably rolled a 6 and a 1, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
6
that's
and a
right.
1. That's yeah. Yeah, so he like will try to like sneak up to it, but it probably turns around last second, and then he just kind of picks up the pace and just kind of muscles it to the ground.
I'm going to see if I've got a picture of. I didn't load one, but the Aslan have a unique looking.
Yeah, they have cool. I always like the. Well, I know in like in Mega Traveler especially, they had. I love the art from Mega Traveler era, but they also had really neat aesthetic.
Definitely.
With their ships and gear, and
Yeah, I really like it. I agree.
then Vargers are always like painted orange and black, and
Here you go, guys.
or
This is. There it is.
nice. Okay.
It's got like a robot mane on him, kind of.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
All right, so then, you drawn one to the ground. Alonzo, give us a electronics computers check, please.
All right. There we go. Computers. Oh.
I don't think I was
That's a
double
4.
once. Nope,
No,
you're
it's a
good.
No,
4
it's
and a 1.
not double ones.
So you've disabled and you wiped the recent memory of it. One more to go.
Okay.
So to get yourself in a position, why don't you give us another stealth check there, Alonso?
Yep.
Let's see if you guys can get this hack done before we end the session.
That'd be good, because I might not be here.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you tell us what it looks like? First off, Dr. Ilias is going to tell you that someone is coming out of the back and seems to be moving into the central area. What do you wish to do with that and set yourself up with the robot? You've rolled well enough to do pretty much whatever you want. Except for suddenly you have a stun weapon on you.
Right.
Yeah. I wish.
I think it's just a case of like, just getting the positioning exactly perfect so that, this other hidden character comes out and sort of immediately comes across the other robot and, is kind of tricked into thinking that's what he heard or whatever, as we then sort of move past their position to where we need to get to.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Don't even deal
like
with the
lock
robot.
him out?
Yep.
Yeah, like
I
lock
love
him
that.
out. Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're in. So then the hacking will be a computers, electronic computers at 10, and it requires 3d6 minutes. And I think every increment of 6 will require some other stratagem. So why don't you first give us a 3d6 roll? I'm really fond of that word today.
To see how many minutes it is?
Yeah, see how many minutes, because you could very well be that you're not even, if you don't even reach a 6. Oh, only one. Only one you require. So why don't you give us your computer's check, and then Anchor, tell us what you do to...
Yeah. Do we need to do we feel like we need to? I guess we're talking to Dr. Ilias. Do we need to try to? Do we have the apparatus actually, or the ability to jam communications from here?
I don't know if do you guys have anything to...
I have just my hand computer that I don't know if there's a specific piece of equipment.
Of course I rolled
Yeah,
terrible.
but remember, you get the +3 from...
right.
Yeah.
From our pre-knowledge that we
Ultimate
had.
One's, insights into the
So
hacking.
it's a 10.
So that's a
It's
10.
not-
This is exactly what you need.
Yeah. The computer has admin, electronics, navigation, mechanics, but probably not.
Well, you know what? Hold on. What is the scaling up of difficulty to reduce the time? Because there is that option, right?
Yeah, you can increase the difficulty to lessen the time increment.
Yeah,
So instead of 3d6, I go to 1d6.
if you want to spend 2 luck on that, you could do it.
I think
in-
that makes perfect sense. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
Yeah.
So that'll actually go down to what is your roll? And we do it in increments of 10 seconds. That means it's a minute and change.
Nice.
For you to get this.
Wow.
So what do we see
Awesome.
as you guys go into, and it's his study, you can picture it's Aslan, so lots of wood and natural materials and rounded, surfaces. And you get in there and we're talking a minute and 20
20
seconds.
seconds.
I feel like it's just a case of like Ultima 1's information was just so insightful that it's almost like he predicted it. Like, this guy followed the book maybe too well. And so Ultima 1's knowledge was just like, oh, yeah, okay, it's right here. And the password, oh, yep. Like it just all fell into place.
Yep, perfect. So then why don't you, we end our session with that Aslan who was left behind to spy as he makes his way towards the, we would see in the film version, you and Anchor in the thing watching, for the guy you're going away and hacking. As the guy reaches the end of the hallway, he activates the chime once again and opens up the door to the office. And what does he find there?
Like, what do you mean? Like
does he go into the office and then instead of finding what we would expect you guys in there, there's an open window with a draft coming in?
Yeah, something like that. I think probably we've slipped out the window right as he's coming and
Okay.
are quickly fleeing the property.
Right.
And we see Dr. Ilias carefully studying this, and he says, tells you guys that the neural, activity is moving further back in. So go. You guys have gotten away, and we end our session with Dane having a tour of Sync, and Alonzo, Dr. Ilias, and Anchor carrying out our first heist.
Well, maybe second highest if we count the other one. But
What was the other one?
The one where
rescue the
Dane-
woman.
That was a rescue mission. That was
a rescue.
Oh, yeah, that was more of a
Rescue mission.
the
Okay.
rescue. I mean, she was kind of cargo. She was certainly in something.
Yeah.
So excellent. All right, well, guys, so that brings us to the end of session 27 of the Borderland Run. So then, as is always the case, you get your regular XP, one XP. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta spend something.
Then
We've done 7 weeks of training, by the way.
nice.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
What happened?
Yeah, that's how much we've been, like 8 weeks. You said, right? So that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So you've had 7 weeks of training. So I don't.
Yeah, and you've missed a couple sessions too, so that probably accounts for whatever number it's off. Then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 27 of the Borderland Run. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have a channel dedicated to this campaign, as well as most other ones we run on the channel, as well as a ton of other channels. There is a really terrific community that has built up over the years over there, helpful and knowledgeable and friendly, so you are more than welcome to join us over there. There's also like finding group and GM discussion, and there's plans that people are starting to coordinate to find cons where they can meet up with one another in their respective parts of the world, so that's pretty cool. Not everyone is a bubble boy like me and actually gets out sometimes, so that's good. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a terrific selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print games. If you find something in their catalog that is not in stock, you can put it on a want list and then pick it up at your leisure. They will send you an email when it comes in, and then if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserNight, all caps, all one word, and you will save yourself 10% in your purchase. There's also a link down below to our friends, to the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It's the SOS Children's Villages International charity that benefits from the Heroes Save Villages campaign. They benefit over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children from over 130 countries, and any donations that go through that link go directly to them. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. And as a small way of saying thank you, starting at the end of July, which is really only, 2 months away now, we'll be sharing information on the Charity Initiatives channel about the ways that we will thank the donors. If you've donated $25 or more since January 1st, 2024, not 2025. I'm getting ahead of myself. Then you will be able to vote on the components for the charity sessions that we'll be playing in the second half of the year. I've got what I think is going to be a pretty fun thing to vote on, and I'll share probably more information about halfway through the June. But you can find all about that on the Charity Initiatives channel at the end of July, and we will be opening up voting probably around that time as well. So if you donated $25 or more since January 1st, check over there and you'll be able to start participating in helping us frame the charity sessions for the last half of the campaign, last half of the year. Sorry. Last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart travelers. So Carl, David, Graham, and Jeffrey, thank you so much for playing today, guys. Graham, I hope you feel better soon. You've soldiered on through this. And for those listening at home, we will be back on the surface of Sync in 2 weeks' time. But until we see you again, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our travelers have encountered and seemingly avoided while trying to help out their passenger/cargo. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.